Well, good morning and welcome to day 6 of our Quarantine Quiet Time series titled The Heart of Prayer. We're reading in Matthew chapter 6 this week in the Lord's Prayer, and we're taking it line by line, day by day. And we're on day 6. Tomorrow's day 7, and we're closing it out tomorrow. If you haven't had a chance to watch the first 5 videos, I want to encourage you to take some time to do that so that you can kind of catch up to where we're at in this study. Today we're going to look at the line in this prayer where Jesus says, "Lead us not into temptation." And before we get into the text, I want to give a shout out to my dad, Tony Peckman, in Denver, Colorado. Happy birthday, Dad. I hope you have an awesome birthday in quarantine, and I look forward to seeing you whenever we get to see each other. I'm excited for it, and I love you a lot. Okay, so for today, we're looking at this line, lead us not into temptation. This is a great prayer to pray. To me, this gets my heart focused on God and that I need Him, that I am dependent on God. And it also kind of checks my heart. Because when I pray these words, lead us not into temptation, I'm also thinking about the places in my life, the things in my life that have become my God, that I have idolized, that I have, that are the places of sin in my life, whether that's just from yesterday or kind of throughout the course of my life. I think about those temptations that when I encountered them, I maybe fought for a little bit, but then I gave in and I just crossed that line into sin. Or I didn't even fight and I'm like, forget it, I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to let this sin, I'm just going to throw myself into this sin. That might be in my emotions, that might be in my actions, it might be in my thoughts. It might be in relationships. I mean, there's so many different places where temptation and sin can exist. But I think about those things. When I say lead us not into temptation, if I'm asking God to lead me not into temptation, I'm thinking about those places of kind of recurring temptation and how I want to steer clear of them. If I'm asking God to lead me away from those and to lead me not into temptation, I'm also going to make it a point to not get close to those places of temptation. There's the saying, if you play with fire, you're gonna get burned. If you get close to that sin, chances are you're gonna give into it. Chances are you're gonna get burned by it. It's gonna steal life from you. It's gonna have you. That's what God says to Cain. It says sin is crouching at your door and it desires to have you, but you must master over it. And so this is a heart check for me, that I'm going to steer clear of those places where I know, those things in my life where I know I have given in to those temptations in the past, and they have become my God. I've let them be an idol to me. I've made them an idol. But this also gets me thinking about, the times in my day today. I don't know what today holds in store. But those places where I do find myself tempted, again, I'm going to try to steer clear of those temptations, but when I do arrive in a moment where there's a temptation, I hope that these words get me thinking, this prayer gets me thinking about, okay, why am I suddenly tempted by this? What about this is taking hold of my heart and enticing me? What am I lacking? In what way am I not depending on God that suddenly this is so enticing and it seems like this is something I need? And so this is a prayer that gets me thinking about my heart, that when I am tempted, why is my heart being tempted by this thing, or by this person, or this thought, or this emotion? And where have I stopped depending on God? Where have I stopped relying on Him to give me life, where I think I'm lacking and I need this thing to make up for it? So this is, this prayer, there's so much packed into it. If you really take some time to consider these words, lead us not into temptation. I desperately need God today. I need Him. We need Him. We need to depend on Him to deliver us through whatever we face today. It says in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12 through 14, Paul says, if you think you're standing firm, if you think you're good to go, nothing's going to get you down, no temptation is going to take hold of you, he says, be careful that you don't fall. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to man, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will provide a way out so that you can endure it. Therefore, my dear friends, flee from idolatry. God is faithful. Whatever we face today, He is faithful. And He will lead us through temptations, through trials, through whatever we face. He'll lead us through it so that we can endure it. I hope that these words also get us thinking about how the places in our life today, the things that maybe tempted us yesterday or in the past, that we're going to steer clear of. Like, I'm not even going to play with that. I'm not even going to dabble or get close to the line. I'm going to steer clear. I'm going to flee from idolatry. But today, when we are tempted, I also hope that these words kind of stop us in our tracks and get us thinking about, what is it about this temptation? Why is my heart so gripped by this? Why are my thoughts so gripped by this temptation right now? What am I lacking in that I'm not getting from God, or that I've stopped depending on God in some way, that this is enticing to me? I hope that you kind of are stopped in your tracks. Like, okay, get my focus back on God, my dependence back on God, because He's the one who's going to deliver me and help me endure through this and whatever else I face today. So I hope this gets you thinking about your day, about dependence and reliance on God, and that He is the faithful one and He's going to help us endure. And I hope this has just been good food for thought as you enter the day. Let's say a prayer, and then I look forward to being together tomorrow for day 7 on Easter Sunday. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. Amen. Have a great day. Be safe. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.